Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, we have Joyce, sorry. It's Friday afternoon, obviously.
It's okay.
He's the Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, and we are here with your weekly wrap and also a midday update as we take a look at sector rotation and how long that can draw out the bull cycle. Brian, great to have you with us, and see, you switched Chris out, and I just totally go blank there. Before we get into our charts for today, looks like the major averages are really appreciating that jobs report and the earnings that we've seen come out.
Yeah, we had a good jobs number today. We had the Fed this week as well. They cut rates a third time, which is widely expected. But and earnings are coming out. The reported results, sales, and bottom line earnings are beating expectations. They have been lowered down, so that's something to keep in mind. But overall, things looking very well.
All right, let's take a look at our first chart here. This is the Nasdaq Biotech Index, and this is something that you have written about earlier in the week and the week before, and you were looking for a very specific breakout. Yeah,
we highlighted this on Monday. This is the weekly chart here. We were looking at this declining resistance line, which coincides with now the 40-week moving average, which is synonymous with the 200-day moving average. And sure enough, we did get the follow through after Monday. We got the breakout, and we're up about almost 4% this week. It's one of the top performing industries this week. I have a screen of over 60 different industries and sub-industries that I look at, and this is number 2 on that list. So it's been doing very well, and being that it's within healthcare, the healthcare index is doing well this week also.
And that's our next chart, the S&P 500, that's the healthcare index. This is a little bit different because it incorporates all facets of healthcare, not just biotech.
Correct. So this is a broader, it's one of the 11 main GIC sectors. It's been underperforming this year. It did have a very good year last year in 2018. I think it was the only sector that was actually positive on the year. So since the beginning of last year, it's up right in line with the S&P 500. But this year it's been underperforming as other growth sectors have been outperforming, but it's been coming back around, and as you can see, it's breaking out to recent highs, about 6-month fresh highs, and it's now within 1% of its all-time highs made last year. So also looks very good.
All right, now the industrials, that was something that we were talking about over the past week or two as well, also at a key resistance level.
Right, and the theme here is rotation. So we've been seeing a lot of the growth stocks, the growth sectors in 2019 doing well, and we're now seeing a rotation into these groups that had previously been underperforming. Industrials now this week are breaking out as well. We highlighted this sector about a month ago in our midday write-up. We noted that a breakout would carry a measured move up around to the 850, 875 level, which would be about a 25% increase. Right now it would be about 23% from last sale from here, but this is also within about 1% of its all-time highs, which were made back in January of 2018, which is when a lot of the global equity indices had peaked, and we're now seeing a lot of those indices finally starting to make new highs as well.
All right, on to our last chart, the Russell 2000. This is another key theme, value versus growth, and a lot of people go to the Russell 2000 to see if there's any value in there.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the Russell 2000, the reason this has been underperforming the large caps this year, one of the reasons is the sector composition within the indices. So the S&P 500 is largely weighted to technology. Technology and communications make up around, I think, 35%, where for the Russell that only makes up about 12%. So now that we're seeing financials breaking out, we're seeing healthcare breaking out, industrials breaking out, it's interesting that the top 2 sectors in the Russell 2000 are financials and healthcare. They make up about 43% of the index, so very strong weighting there. And so accordingly, as those sectors are now breaking out, we're seeing the Russell 2000 break out as well.
Yeah, and financials and industrials and healthcare, for that matter, really haven't participated. That could be the next leg up if you get some power behind the financials.
Right. The hallmark of all bull markets is rotation, and we're now finally seeing that into these other underperforming sectors, which is exactly what we want to see. With technology for now, it is still holding up, so we haven't seen that rotation from growth into value. Growth is still doing well, so both groups right now are doing well. We'll see how long if that can last.
All right, Brian, Joyce, thank you so much for joining us at MarketSite, and thank you for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.